jokes they tell of their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. Whilst Hess remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots. The maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of our resistance, and those who died for liberty.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Street where the loyal drums do beat, and the lovely English people walked all over us. And every single night when they tell come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with this chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lace of Gillishandra. Tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had knives, bows, and arrows. Of how bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lace of Gillishandra. Let us hear you tell how you stand the brave Parnell and taught them well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Gillishandra.
I must have been the dance commander, giving out the order for fun. Hello everyone, how are we all? No camera tonight, can't be bothered. So I'm just a disembodied voice in the ether. Come to peace with it. Happy Pride as well to everyone, if that's a thing. I haven't put a tree up this year or anything, because that would be fucking mental. But I have fucked lots of men, so that's cool. Anyway, how's everyone doing? I hope you're well. You got a new kitten? Well, I mean, Dr. Phil Decker. Firstly, thank you, Dr. Phil Decker, for resubscribing. 16 months, you mental bastard. Love it. But you cannot possibly, you know the fucking rules. You've been around long enough. If you've got a new kitten and he's stupidly cute, pics. Show us pictures of the stupidly cute kitten. You can't say it and not show it. Show your cute workings. Alright? Disgraceful activity. Ah, the baby! Okay, where are we? Yeah. Kaboomski! Hello! I need names, I need everything. What is this creature? And please inform it that I will kill anything and everything on its behalf. It needs to know the genuinely despicable things I would do to protect and or amuse it. Also give it a little scritch on the head. Cats like scritches on the head. Well, seamstress dragon with a much more harrowing story there of a cat being injured. Well, hopefully that cat is fine and gets the medical care it needs. He is called Boo after an anime character. Okay, you made it nerdy. You made it nerdy, and I don't have the fucking thing plugged in because I never ever remember to plug the cunt in. Okay. Well, in about 5 minutes I'm going to press the nerd button, and it's going to be for you for saying that. Why not just call it Dave? Just call it something normal. Yeah. How many times do you have to turn a fucking USB around before it fucking goes in? God, I hate the world. I think I just turned the USB thing around like 5 fucking times. It's only 2 possibilities it could be, and it still wouldn't work. Is it a tabby? I do not know. But maybe we'll find out. I don't know. Dragon Ball Z isn't nerdy. Shut the front door, okay? Dragon Ball Z is very nerdy. And it's not even like cool nerdy. Like, it's not even like you've named some like really obscure Japanese shit that shows you're really into it or some shit. Dragon Ball Z is like the Dragon Ball Z, firstly, right? Don't even fucking start with me. De-Yankify includes de-Yankifying Japan. Dragon Ball Z is some basic bitch stuff. Even I know that. Kev is on a boomer rant. Quite so. That might be the only time you ever get to hear me rant about anime or whatever. So, like, you know, for all you nerdoids, for all of you dweebs, enjoy, because that's as much as you're getting out of me. Yeah, hang on a minute. We're getting there. Unbelievably slowly, but we're getting there. Right. Fuck yes.
Throbbing.
Anyway. Kev says anime is for nerds, but pronounces anime correctly. No, I didn't. See? I did it. I read ahead and understood what I was supposed to do there. Actually, that was one of the funniest elements of Nigel Farage's cameo nonsense. That cameo with him going, me and my G's are on an anim binge. An anim binge. Anim. Or him pronouncing it ara ara. I didn't expect him to be the most culturally sensitive of men, but yeah. You have seen as anime fan you are. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know what that means. But anyway. Thank you for the picture of your incredibly cute cat. Also, you have nice flooring. That is a thing I know. What the fuck am I talking about? Right. Okay. Anime is what I used to call it. Well, to be fair, if you've never seen the word before and you're an Angloid, if you're very much firmly in the Angloid box, Angloid, you're a fucking Angloid, repeat ad nauseum, yeah, then anime is probably the way you would think it would be pronounced.
It's a fucking disgrace.
Okay, everyone. You know how to give me money, right? I don't need to go through the full spiel. Bits, subs, subscriptions, fucking super chats, memberships, all of that good shite. You know what you do, and you can gift them to the community, all of that kind of thing. You know? Yeah. What anime has Kev seen anyway? Very little, if I'm entirely honest. Bits my brother has shown me. My younger brother. Albeit, it seems weird calling him my younger brother. He always will be, of course, but, like, he's a man in his, fucking early 30s who has two children and a third one on the way. So it seems weird to say, oh, my little brother, but, like, that's what he is, right? Who, in between being both a parent and getting our mutual parent to buy me gifts in the form of, like, hideous dolls from shows that I've never seen or video games that I've never played, is also a fan of the anime in rather a large way, and so he's shown me bits of it, and that's basically all I've seen is bits that he has shown me, and it's usually like a tree that turns into a monster, or a Japanese person pronouncing something a bit weird.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Like we've got a thing that he and I have. For some reason, in Japanese, when they pronounce things in English, they often add the sort of, there's a suffix pronunciation of "r" to the end of things, which I don't quite understand why in Japanese that becomes a thing, but it is. So he sent me a clip once of them. They were talking about it was an anime. And they were talking about the Wimbledon Tennis Championship. Something to do with that.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
It did not have subtitles, so I don't know exactly what was being said. But it involved tennis. Anyway, and the pronunciation, Wimbledon, I was pissing myself. I thought that was like, how can they think that's the pronunciation of that word? I don't know, but we thought it was funny. Which is probably like some sort of microaggression or a bit of cheeky racism or something, but it is what it is. I was young and happy. And thin. God, I was thin and beautiful. Anyway. Thank you, Journeying Jordan, who says, as much as it sucks that Hasan and his transphobic uncle have had their visas revoked, Zach Polanski and the Green Party of England and Wales MP can honestly do one today. Not one Green MP spoke in the code of practice. Spoke in the code of practice? What does that mean? I don't know. Anyway, and Zach is too busy tweeting about Cenk and nothing in his own words about trans segregation. Okay, I mean, to be fair, right, they probably should talk about trans stuff more than they do. But I don't think it's particularly out of the usual to comment on something that's in the news specifically. Now, I'm not asking any trans person to be okay with them not... so the code of practice debate, right, I'm with you. To be fair, he's not... Zach Polanski's not a member of Parliament. Oh, pardon me. Sorry. I just swallowed some saliva down the wrong hole. Excuse me. My internal throat mechanism seems to have forgotten how to operate. 1 second. Whew. Right. Yes. Zach Polanski isn't a member of Parliament, so he couldn't have spoken. But there are obviously 4 Green MPs, and they should have spoken, I think, in that debate. Yeah. The debate was today, and Ellie Chowns walked out halfway through. No other MPs even showed up. That's a shame. That's a very significant shame. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to deny that that's not okay. There are some things you should give a fuck about on a practical, immediate level, and I don't know what else they could have been doing. Assuming they were in London, like, 1 or 2 of them might have an excuse. Like, if one of them was in fucking hospital or some dumb shit, you know. But generally speaking, they probably should have turned up for that, I think. Yeah. I didn't actually watch the debate myself. I was too busy doing, well, other things. But I'm not a member of Parliament either, so, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. Anyway, that's, you know, that is what it is. Where are we? Thank you, Carl Brown, for gifting a couple of memberships on the YouTubes. Much love. To be fair, Carla Denia probably would have spoken in it. Right, but apparently she didn't even turn up for it. So I don't know what's going on there. Did you see what our new health secretary did? I did not see that. I mean, I saw that he came out and said that he doesn't think trans women are women. But did he specifically do a thing that I've missed? Oh, that's basically... Okay, yeah, he's scum. Yeah, it's now just Labour Party policy to be transphobic scum. Like, literally today, just the fucking temerity of these fucking pricks. Where are we? Yeah, here we go. So, like, obviously today is the start of Pride Month, right? And the Labour Party put out Happy Pride Month from all of us at the Labour Party. A week after stripping trans people of rights, and on the same day that their health secretary came out and said that trans women aren't women, or that he doesn't consider them women. Like, motherfucker, the shamelessness, the absolute fucking shamelessness of these evil bastards to fucking dare to wish a happy Pride, having seen the UK slip to, in the latest rankings, 22nd in Europe. 22nd in Europe for LGBTQ rights. There we are. Look, we're the only country in Western Europe as bad on LGBTQ rights. We are ranked behind Estonia and Montenegro and Ireland, a famously very Catholic place. We're only just ahead of Andorra and Albania and fucking Moldova. And that was before. This ranking here was done before. Before there were these recent transphobic attacks on rights as well. So fuck knows how bad we are now. We're probably going to slip behind Albania and Bosnia and Kosovo. Fuck me. Absolutely fucking awful. And you fucking dare, you bastards, to wish us pride. Get fucked. Honestly, get fucked. You scum. Hey, hello JFK Rotting and the Raiderinos. How are we all? Apologies, I had turned my my alert box off briefly because I was ranting about how transphobic and evil my nation is. Fun times. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Kevin Logan, a socialist YouTuber / Twitcher from the UK. I promise you, we're not all absolutely terrible. Yeah, you can hit the follow button and all of that jazz if you wanted to. It's a thing. You're entitled to do it. Thank you, Mellow Maggot, for 5 gifties as well on the YouTube. Much love. Much love! Anyway, so that happened. Now, segueing from the Labour Party being absolute dog shit on this particular issue to a piece of... I don't even know how to describe this, really. The recurring ulcer, the weeping ulcer of the Labour government, that is the Mandelson scandal, rumbles on. You may remember that before the election, they were supposed to release all the information they had, because they were legally bound to do so via a vote of Parliament. Even with a massive majority, they literally couldn't stop this from happening. Yeah. Keir Starmer, having appointed one of the best friends of Jeffrey Epstein to be the ambassador to the United States, then lied about all of the things. Who could have possibly seen that coming? So we had a second tranche, as every fucking media outlet decided to describe it, a second tranche of documents relating to this, including lots of WhatsApp messages and private correspondence and all the rest of it. And most of them are embarrassing for the government, but not necessarily fatal. But there are a couple of pieces that definitely should be, but won't be, because how is this man still Prime Minister? For the love of God, Labour, you are fucking dreadful at this. Right, so there's some embarrassing stuff. there's Peter Mandelson basically just being right in saying that Keir Starmer is a complete idiot who doesn't know what he's doing. Not massively surprising there. There's a Labour Party being right-wing as fuck. With Pat McFadden, you remember him from The Crypt? Yeah, him being really annoyed that Labour Party backbenchers don't want to eviscerate the poor. Because they're just conservatives. These people are just conservatives. Him writing the, again, incorrect note to David Lammy saying that he would never regret the appointment of Peter Mandelson as ambassador. Press X today. There's the fact that even though he was supposed to be doing the full-time job of being the UK's ambassador to the United States, he was also essentially running a shadow government, even though it wasn't very shadow, it was very out in the open. Peter Kyle, who was then Technologies Minister, ran a speech by him about technology that he was going to be giving at the Munich Security Conference, which he then gave advice to him about how you should be far more pro AI than the speech was, and he then changed it to say that the UK, we reject the doomsayers and pessimists about AI. So he's basically just running government, as you do. What else? Oh yeah, warning the Prime Minister not to take away VAT exemptions for private schools, because again, he's just a right-wing piece of shit. There was the funny thing of him saying that Wes Streeting was experiencing an early midlife crisis. That's quite funny, if nothing else. Although what I will point out is that this was about Wes Streeting wanting the government to do something about Gaza. And Peter Mandelson wrote, "By the way, I received a wild, long, hysterical message from Wes about Israel. I pushed back. I can forward it, but reflects pretty badly on the maturity of his maturity, in my view." So they literally do the adults in the room. We're sensible, serious adults in the room bit to each other in private. That's not just a bit they do. They're essentially in a cult of pretended maturity, whilst actually just supporting genocide. They just want to feign seriousness. That's all this government is just pretending to be serious, wanting to look serious, whilst doing nothing. Absolutely incredible shit. The thing that I think should bring down the government, but won't, unfortunately, is... Where are we? Oh no, hang on. No, where is it? Did I just bookmark it and not retweet it? Probably. Oh, here we go. So, we were given assurances during the second or third outbreak of this story, because this is a story, like I say, that is a repeated open wound for the Labour government, which I don't even know, is this the fourth or fifth occasion this has become massive headline news? Because they keep lying about it, and then those lies get exposed. And then they lie about the lies, and those lies get exposed. So on and so forth. And on the second or third occasion that this was the case, they said, don't worry, there was never any actual, conflict of interest here. Because... even though he'd had previous clients when he was out of government and out of office completely, previous clients that included companies with deep connections to the Chinese government, and still being on the board of a company with very close links to the Kremlin after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, that sort of thing. Don't worry. One of the stipulations they put in place when he became the ambassador to the United States was that he would never have one-on-one meetings with any former clients. Right? That he would never be allowed, under the restrictions put upon him, to have one-on-one meetings with anyone who had previously employed him in any capacity, because that could be a conflict of interest, right? Turns out that one of his previous employers, Palantir, he had secret private one-on-one meetings with Louis Mosley, the grandson of the British Union of Fascist leaders, Oswald Mosley, that guy. Private one-on-one meetings with him in Washington, D.C. And then, miraculously, Britain gave them hundreds of millions of pounds of UK taxpayers' money and access to all of our personal information in the NHS database. That should bring down this government. That alone. This, not just obvious, massive, disgusting, corrupt conflict of interest, but the fact that it was lied about, specifically to everyone in the nation and the House of Commons, should bring this government down fucking instantly. And the fact that it won't do that, the fact that it won't fucking do that, is one of the key reasons that you cannot trust these bastards. Do not trust the Liberals. They will fucking betray you. Now, one thing that disappointed me in myself today was that, given all of this, plenty of reasons to be really annoyed, the thing that really disgusted me was not something that should have been the thing that really disgusted me. It shouldn't be the thing that genuinely made my skin crawl in all of this. Because, don't get me wrong, I'm disgusted and offended and repulsed by so much of the other stuff that I've outlined there. And by the way, people are still sifting through it because it's like 1,500 fucking documents of multiple pages each, right? So there'll still be more coming out tomorrow and in the coming days. Specifically about this, right? But of all of the things that did genuinely piss me the fuck off was something that is quite trivial in a certain sense. And it's not something that would usually annoy me, because people who are regular viewers to this channel will know I'm not a person who gives that much of a fuck about tradition. Particularly, I am a person who is a respecter of history. I'm certainly a person who's a great fan of studying history, but tradition to me seems like dead people pressuring you to do stuff. And I couldn't give two fucks. Because, like, the people who were pressuring you to do that, the old dead people were like, you know, slavers and shit. I don't give a fuck about any of that. Fuck you, you cunts. And also, you're dead. Losers. Skill issue. Get wrecked. But this did annoy me. Now, for those who don't know, the ministerial red box, right? I don't know. Boop. Is one of these motherfuckers. There you go. Doesn't look much to the eye. There's quite an old one. They're a bit fancier when they're brand new. But essentially they're leather-lined briefcases. Now, not briefcase in the sense that we usually use that term on this channel. Although most of the people that have them are briefcases. Let's be honest. But they are essentially fancy briefcases. They are in red, as you see there. And they have gold lettering, signifying that you are a minister of state. Right? That you work in whatever department you work in. And they can only be used for government business. So you have to be the Secretary of State for blah, blah, blah to use the box for that. To hold the order papers for that department. Right? Now, if you're going to have a tradition like that, it should mean something. I.e., you are the Secretary of State. You are the person who is the head of that department. That box should mean something. It should be... It's in the same way that the old symbol of the fasces meant something in ancient Rome, which is why they put it above the door of courtrooms in ancient Rome. because it was a symbol of the power of the Roman state. Having that box signifies that you are the key person in that department making decisions on behalf of the kind of the governing process of the United Kingdom, and therefore of the implementation of democracy. Now, again, you can think that that's silly, and to a degree, I do think that's silly. But if we're going to have that tradition, that's what that box should entail. That's what it should mean. I'm not one for the pomp and pageantry of the British state, but if we're going to have it, make it fucking mean something. And what you shouldn't then do is completely and utterly undermine the power and seriousness of that by cocking yourself out even further, by pushing desperately to get a red box emblazoned with the gold lettering that says President of the United States of America and gift it to Donald Trump. Literally giving away one of the prime symbols of Britishness to amuse Caesar. And nothing else. We weren't getting anything back for this. We weren't going to get anything for this. It was just to make him feel happy and nice for 5 seconds. And not just that, but what does it say about the fact that, look, we obviously point out that we are a vassal state of the United States, but the government should at least pretend not to be, right? But what you are saying by giving him that box and emblazoning it with President of the United States of America is that the President of the United States of America is a British government minister. Far more important, in fact, than even the Prime Minister. You are saying the bit that we're not supposed to say and saying it very loudly. Like, I can't imagine how pathetically cucked you have to be to even consider this, let alone push very strongly for it to happen. Now, thankfully, it didn't happen. But the fact that they tried to do this genuinely makes my fucking skin crawl. And I don't know what that says about me. Because this shouldn't be a thing that I give a fuck about. I should care far more about the Palantir stuff. And don't get me wrong, I do care about that. One box I would be absolutely fine with Britain donating to America is the coffin that we bury the cunt in. Line it with lead just to make sure, right? Unbelievable. So, obviously another thing that the Labour government did this week was to ban Hasan and Cenk Uygur from the UK. And that's cocked in of itself, because that's all about Israel. Don't be under any illusion that there is any other reason. Do not allow, for a moment, the anyone to fucking gaslight you into believing it's about anything else. Okay? Don't allow them to let you think that it's about anything other than their criticisms of Israel. Okay? Got nothing to do with extremism. Got nothing to do with support for terrorism, etc., etc. It's about Israel. We are beholden, completely and utterly. We have fully transmogrified into the cumsock of the Israeli lobby. That's why these two individuals have been banned. But the cuckoldry does not stop there, because unfortunately, South by Southwest London released a statement today. Quote, "Decisions on entry to the UK are a matter for Home Office and individuals concerned. SXSW's London role is to convene a broad range of diverse voices and perspectives. We will remain focused on delivering a programme this week, fostering open dialogue and exchange of ideas, and featuring more than 800 speakers, artists and screenings." Like, What the fuck is wrong with you? No hint of, like, anger that the British government have done this? Like, obviously, in a very literal sense, they are correct. The decision on whether to grant a visa or revoke a visa or not give it in the first place or whatever is down to the British Home Office as the department in question that deals with such requests. Obviously. But no one is suggesting that you, South by Southwest London, are making that decision. But you can be disgusted and angered by that. You can protest that decision. You can actively call out the British government for its chilling of free speech, given that you are so in favour, apparently, of open dialogue and such. You could say that the British government clearly don't have those opinions as well. That the wish for open dialogue that you possess is not also possessed by the British government. You could, in any way, you spineless cunts, push back against this. And the fact that you haven't speaks fucking volumes. Your silence is deafening. And then, of all things, you have made me agree with Cenk Uygur on some shit. Listen to this.
Who can you not criticize? You can't criticize the king, right? That's the gravest offense. But apparently I can criticize the king. I can criticize the UK. I just can't criticize the actual king, Israel. Wait, is that anti-Semitic? But you just did it. You just did it. Are you going to say that it's anti-Semitic to report the thing you just did? Banning me because the most powerful thing in the UK apparently is Israel, because that's the one thing you can't criticize, just like in the old days when you couldn't criticize the king.
Literally. The Israel lobby has the power of the old kings. It gets anything and everything it wants. You can criticise the king. The British government will never ever stop you from coming to the UK for saying that King Charles is a wanker. Never. The British government won't ban you for saying that the British government is shit. The British government will not stand in your way whatsoever if you support Scottish or Welsh nationalism and the break-up of the nation. These things, quite rightly, are perfectly allowed. But if you criticise Israel a little bit too strongly, like they'll allow some like weak sauce, like Wes Streeting style intervention where like, oh maybe we shouldn't do, you know, maybe Israel isn't perfect in every way, you know, that kind of mealy mouth bullshit. But if you actually genuinely criticise Israel, you will be banned, because the British state cares far more about the fifis of some religious extremist cunts in Tel Aviv than it does about any person in the UK. I guarantee you that much. And you can tell that because they tried to get those fucking Maccabi Tel Aviv animals, and I'm going to say it, they're fucking animals, okay? And not because they're Jewish, but because they're violent, pro-rape, religious fanatics. They're scum. If I trod in them, I wouldn't scrape them off like shit. I would just burn my shoes. They would be unsalvageable. That's how lowly I think of those creatures. They tried to get them into the country to purposefully allow them to attack British citizens, because the fifis of Israelis matter far more than the actual safety of British people. This was never, ever, ever anything to do with Cenk Uygur or Hasan Piker being extremists. It was to do with them not supporting the line that Israel is flawless. You can't criticise them. You can't call out genocide as being genocide. You have to just, at best, ignore them. And it was actively support them. Or you run foul of being, if you're a UK citizen, arrested for being anti-genocide protesters and imprisoned, put on hunger strike and allowed to go to the verge of starvation, to the point where members of parliament have to go there and physically fucking force the authorities to do anything to save these people's lives. Or if you're a foreigner, being banned from entering the UK under the same piece of legislation that would stop the leader of Boko Haram being allowed into the UK. Like, in America, we laughed. As British people, we laughed at the American discourse when Zohran Mamdani was asked to condemn Hamas and Hasan Piker. We laughed. How absurd. How absurd that you would put those two things together. And yet the British government have literally done that. The British government have banned Hasan Piker and Cenk Uygur under the same legislation that they would ban the leader of Hamas. Whilst, of course, accepting a Al-Qaeda aligned freak in Syria to have a fucking embassy in the middle of London, to turn up and shake hands with the Prime Minister on the steps of fucking Downing Street. Because, of course, we would never allow extremists into the nation. Fuck off. Absolutely fuck right off. Anyway. Shall we do some slop? I don't know if this is slop, but it could be slop. Someone suggested it in the thing. Socialists should stay in Labour. Apparently it's a debate between friend of the channel and all-round sexy motherfucker, Curtis Daly. Everyone go and follow Turn Left immediately. And a guy with the... Look, let's just get it out of the way. His name is Aydin Dikadem. Just get the laughs out now. Okay? Aydin Dikadem. Okay? Are we good? Can we all be adults in the room, please? Can we all be sensible? Can we be sensible? Please.
Aydin Dikadem is a Labour Party councillor for Wandsworth and a socialist. Before the local elections, Dikadem pleaded with left-wing voters to support Labour over the Green Party.
If the progressive vote splits, the Tories will win here. They will come back. Wandsworth is not a Labour.
Clean Asmongold. Oh. Love her.
The heartland, like Gorton and Denton was, it has only been Labour controlled for the last 4 years. If you're a progressive and you've got progressive values and you believe in the power of municipal socialism like I do, please consider lending us your vote.
I commented and said Labour were not reformable and maybe he should join the Greens. To which he said, but can you see how in the material reality of where I grew up, my life, my community, that the correct socialist political strategy has been building within the local Labour Party to then win and then deliver real socialist change in policies. Even the fact that we lost by only 15 votes shows why that was the correct path. No? I then offered Aydin to come...
Oh, he went to Oxford? Of course he fucking did. If he did PPE, I'm going to actually scream. ...on
the channel and put his point of view across, that there should be some kind of socialist presence inside the Labour Party. Yesterday, he attempted to do just that. Aydin, thank you so much for joining me today.
No worries at all.
Give me your assessment of Labour's performance at the local election.
Yeah, I mean, personally, very painful. We had been in
I thought it was hilarious. Just saying.
Control of Wandsworth Council. We lost control by 1 seat. We lost that seat by 16 votes. So, personally, very painful. And that would be the feeling among...
They got absolutely fucked. You could argue that the electorate done Dikadem. Oh, no. No!
Colleagues across the country where obviously Labour was thrashed, basically. Some of the worst results and some of the worst headwinds, I feel.
Russell own brand. Fuck Fucking hell. Oh, I'm going to die. I'm actually going to die. Oh. Oh, no. Oh.
Epic dub.
Like, as someone who was on the ground campaigning, that I've ever experienced in my nearly...
That is, by the way, Russell Ownbrand is an absolute violation. An absolute fucking reaming violation.
10 years of being a councillor and my longer period of being an activist in the Labour Party. So a very, very difficult set of elections and a difficult night for people who are in the Labour Party.
I mean, your particular win in was it 2018 you first won?
So I was elected in a by-election in 2016, and then we built, you know...
No, Justice interviewed Cenk fucking Uger on Navarra. Linky, my tinky winky. What the fuck did that mean, Kev? That's amazing. Oh, shit. My girl's going places. I fucking knew. I'm genuine. I'm so fucking proud of that bitch. I swear to God. I knew she had the opportunity, or not opportunity, what's the word? The talent, right? I knew she had the fucking talent to do some shit. I knew she had. But it was like, there's always there's always, do they really want it? Are they going to put all the work in? She's definitely fucking done that. And like, there's a bit of good luck involved, I suppose, as well. Like, do you get the right breaks at the right time? Do you meet the right people, etc., etc., that can like really affect some shit? But I knew as soon as the first time I ever fucking set eyes on her, the first time I ever like heard her speak, I knew she had the opportunity to be like a genuine fucking force in terms of the left online. I'm genuine. I'm so fucking chuffed for her. She's been on fucking Pod Save the UK. She's been interviewed by the Green Party leader. That's fucking dope! God, that's awesome. What is this?
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Let's have a look. Scrolling. Let's have a look. We'll get back to Dickadem in a second.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Alright, Gennaro, shut the fuck up, mate.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely, definitely agree with you on that one. Hasan Piker and Cenk Uygur are two of the US's best-known left-wing commentators, and they were due to arrive in the UK this week to feature in two panels at the
Sometimes may be
South by
good,
Southwest
sometimes may be shit.
Gennaro, mate, you're hurting me now, brother. Stop it. Thank you to Kieran Kinsella with 5 memberships. I mean, it's Pride Month, so like, considering I do the gay shit when it's not Pride Month, do I have to like switch it around and do straight stuff during Pride Month now? I don't know how it works. I'm not sure. I'm scared, chat. I'm scared.
London Festival taking place from today. Piker, who has the 14th highest ranked channel on Twitch and was named as one of Time Magazine's 100 most...
Well, 14th until my girl catches her, obviously.
...influential creators last year, was set to speak at a panel on how the American left learned to speak the internet, chaired by our own Ash Sarkar on Thursday. Meanwhile, Uygur, the founder and CEO of the Young Turks, which has a subscriber base of 6.6 million, and also Piker's uncle, was due to speak at the event on techno-feudalism on Wednesday. Uygur was also scheduled to speak at the Oxford Union on Friday as well, but in yet a further move in the direction of total control of a political speech, neither will be appearing in person, if at all. That's after Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood banned the two from the UK.
Honestly, can I apologise on behalf of all of Birmingham for that fucking absolute cock who is currently Home Secretary, who, by the way, Andy Burnham, just again, he's planning to make her fucking Chancellor of the Exchequer. Like, do one, Andy. Fucking do one, you scumbag. Like, I was genuinely hoping that the Manchester experience had changed him to some degree. But as soon as he got that slight sniff of Westminster power again, he becomes the same old fucking Blairite, warmongering piece of shit he always was. Fucking do one, mate. Jog the fuck on.
Revoking their visas. Why? Well, in a stream on YouTube this morning, Cenk relayed the explanation that he had been given.
You'll never guess which government's criticism got me banned from the United Kingdom. You'll never guess it. I mean, you could take days trying to guess. Is it Iceland? Is it Paraguay? Is it Turkmenistan? Oh, gosh. Is it America? Is it Russia? Is it the UK? No, no.
Is it Turkey? Oh, no, you don't criticise them.
Oh, no. Oh, you guys already figured it out? That it's Israel? Yes. I know it's shocking, but you are correct. I got banned from the UK, not for criticizing the UK, but for criticizing Israel. And so I'm going to show you exactly what they said and break it down for you because it is beyond absurd.
Piker gave a similar account on Twitter.
Does she actually interview? Oh, no. It was somebody else. Hang on, that's Piers Morgan. Does she interview him? Oh.
Commitment to free speech. I'm joined now from Los Angeles by Cenk Uygur himself.
That's fucking dope. I genuinely, that. I'm getting a little bit emotional. It's like I think this must be what like a parent feels when the kid goes off to like school or some shit. Like it's like, I'm part of me is like, oh, I'm losing my baby a little bit, but also like, they're growing. They're growing. They're developing. They're becoming like a real little person. Oh, I love it. Oh, I'm melting.
Gay is in. Gay is hot. I want some gay. Gay it's going to be.
So what was your initial reaction on finding out that you'd been banned from the UK?
Nobody.
Oh, I hope you're okay, Lila. If you need to talk or anything, shoot me a message.
Told me about it, so I went to the airport thinking it was going to be, the most normal flight I've ever had. There was no reason to suspect anything. And then the person at the counter said, sorry, but the British government has rejected your entry into the UK, so we can't let you board the flight. And I was kind of stunned.
They didn't even fucking, tell him. They let him turn up at the airport like a schmuck and get, rejected. Get absolutely fucking wasted on the fucking... in front of, everyone. Nah, bitch, you ain't getting on this plane. Sorry, bro.
By it.
Ruined.
Maybe it was a bureaucratic issue. But then about 15, 20 minutes later, the Times article came out saying that I'd been banned for criticizing Israel. That article is really interesting. So I don't know who in the British government they talked to, but they've added a couple of lines to it. I didn't realize that until you read it just now. In the original story, they did not have the lines about barbaric and savage and genocide. I stand by those completely. They're not remotely anti-Semitic. Those are exactly what the Israeli government has done. And by the way, exactly how tons of people have described Palestinians, for my entire life. And they've never been banned.
Yeah, literally, the ambassador, the Israeli ambassador in the UK has described Palestinians in that exact same way. Yeah.
And they make it seem like the Palestinians are occupying the Israelis, not the other way around. None of those liars have ever been banned. But the government decided to ban me for saying things that are empirically true. That statement that you read about how the Israeli lobby has given more to the American Congress than any other lobby, in the last election cycle, that is an empirical fact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's undeniable. Thank you, Plants McGee, who asks the very pertinent question: why are you gay? It's a very good question. I can't answer it.
So both the British government and apparently the Times are lying and saying that it isn't true when it definitely is true, and anyone can look it up. So if you say things that are true, apparently Britain will ban you and say that you're a threat to the public order. Because, I'm not saying it, but apparently they believe that their public order is based on fabricating lies to support the Israeli government.
Of course, we've seen very recently...
He's talking to Cenk Uygur. The thing is, I don't even fucking like Cenk Uygur, but he's a legitimate... didn't he co-found the Justice Democrats or whatever? What the fuck? And there's just there's the person who I regularly disgrace their stream by pretending to fucking finger dead fascists or whatever. And there she is just chatting to Cenk Uygur like that. That's just normal. I'm just chatting. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know what to press.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Of course, over the last few years, the level of fealty from the US government towards Israel. Did you expect this kind of level of fealty to happen in the UK as well?
So, look, I'm not an expert on the UK, but am I?
Okay, how do you pronounce the capital of Scotland? I need to ask every American this. Because firstly, most of them will not know that it's actually Edinburgh, and will think it's Glasgow and pronounce it Glasgow, and those people get immediately sent to the gulag. But if they do know it's Edinburgh and pronounce it Edinburgh, they're fine. I'll let them live. But if I have to tell them that it's this city and point to it and they pronounce it Edinburgh, they also go in the gulag. Okay? The Tesco gulag. All of them. Hello there, Blaze the movie fan. Welcome aboard. You're from Edinburgh. No way.
Am I overly surprised? No. So a lot of Western governments have shown ridiculous deference to Israel, constantly funding them, constantly banning people from criticizing them under the guise of, being against anti-Semitism. No one, especially on the left, but really, when you talk about figures on the right like Tucker Carlson, Tom Massey, etc., nobody says anything against Jewish people. There's fringe people like Fuentes, etc., that do. Okay, you want to ban them? I don't agree with banning anyone. I wouldn't even ban Valentina Gomez, who said the most atrocious thing about Muslims. I believe that those ideas are easily defeated in the marketplace of ideas.
See, you're a liberal. You're just a silly liberal, Cheng. You're just a lib. Shit lib alert, everyone.
I'm a massive believer in freedom of speech. I'm an American, right? But
I'm American. I thought it was America.
So, but let's look at the double standard here. So you're allowed to say things about the Palestinians that aren't even true, but you're not allowed to say it about the Israelis, even if they are true. And so, look, one more thing about that. The British, for, as long as we could remember, in the old days, said the gravest offense was to insult the king.
Not just that, but he's going to do the thing we already sort of heard him say. But, there's a broader point that even during the genuinely authoritarian days of yore, Britain was a home for political dissidents. Karl Marx lived and died here. Friedrich Engels lived here. I don't think he died here, did he? He died in Paris, I believe. Political dissidents from all over Europe came here. Literally, there's an amazing story in... and I know this through my Jack the Ripper related content binge a few months back. An amazing meeting of the original, one of the founding meetings of the Russian Social Democratic Party, which was what they called the communists, but because communist wasn't really a phrase that was used at the time. And they were called the Social Democratic Party, which sounds weird in a modern context, but made sense to them. And it was attended by fucking everyone. Trotsky was there, Lenin was there, Stalin was there, and it was held upstairs in a little fucking 2-floor building in Whitechapel in London, because they couldn't hold it anywhere else for fear of the secret police and stuff. And that was a thing that was allowed in Britain 150 fucking years ago, or 140 years ago, whatever. That was fine. Whereas now, you can't even be radical centrist Cenk Uygur and be allowed in here for a week, let alone to come and live here. That's how badly we've fucking, degraded. That's how much we've slid backward. You can't even be a fucking Twitch streamer that's a bit of an edgy boy. Fucking embarrassing.
And now they're saying the gravest offense is to insult Israel. Well, then who's the king?
It's a very, very, very astute point there.
Okay, I'm just saying. I thought she was gay, but Am I reading too much into it, or was there? I got vibes there. I got eye flutter vibes. Just saying.
I mean, one thing that has been brought up here is it was not conducive to the public good because of what it might do about anti-Semitism in this country. In my opinion, I think that one of the worst things to do is, obviously, of course, there's the conflation of the Jewish community in this country and internationally with, the citizens of Israel, the government of Israel, the actions of the Israeli state, and claiming that criticism of the state or the actions of the state is therefore criticism of the Jewish community at large. And in my mind, that makes anti-Semitism worse.
Jink is a loser now, but he isn't dangerous. Lame.
Yeah, basically, yeah, exactly. Like, he's the extremist we can't allow in. What the fuck? Like, how pathetic is that? Who the fuck is Cenk? Is that... No, that's Cenk Uygur. Yeah.
Not better. Is that
sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Absolutely. Now let's break down the absurdity further, right? So first of all, 63% of Jewish Americans are opposed to the current Israeli government. Are they all anti-Semites? Are they going to get banned from Britain? This is insane. Okay, now, when you say that all Jewish people are in favor of Israel's genocide, and hence, if you criticize Israel's genocide, you're against all Jewish people, you're greatly smearing Jewish people. I could argue that the British government's position is anti-Semitic.
Well, literally, yeah. Yeah. If criticism of genocide is anti-Semitic, then what you are saying is that it's intrinsically a Jewish trait to be pro-genocide. Which I would say is pretty anti-Semitic, yes.
All Jewish people didn't vote for that. They didn't raise their hands and say that they're in favor of it. In fact, the great majority of Jews in America are opposed to it. So who's the anti-Semite? Who's smearing Jewish people? I would argue it's the Home Office of the UK government. And so... it
doesn't... he's completely correct in the nomenclature there, okay, is the Home Office. But it doesn't sound right. Saying Home Office in an American
accent.
accent.
Been a better president than Trump.
I mean, true, but all ridiculously, considering Trump is an anchor baby for his Scottish illegal mother. That's literally true, by the way. Look into that. He wouldn't have been allowed to run because he's not a natural-born American citizen. So, but yes, he would have been a better one than Trump because, I mean, however much I disagree with his politics, at least his brain isn't fucking melting. He is a malter in many respects, but his brain is actually functional. So, that's something.
You can go on and on. Look, some of the best fighters for peace, and you've all seen it with your own eyes, are Jewish Americans and Jews from Britain, and by the way, Jews from Israel. Gideon Levy from Israel, Ben Cohen, Robert Greenwald, Dave Smith, Glenn Greenwald. I can go give you a million names. Bernie Sanders. On and on here in America. So why are you saying I'm not going to judge them based on their ideas and policies? I'm going to say they all are with the Israeli government. They all agree with everything that the Israelis have done. So if you criticize Israel, you're criticizing all of them. That is just, it's empirically incorrect. If anything, that's the...
No, it's not. There's nothing wrong with him saying Home Office because that is correct, right? But it's like when a British person says the word wanker. An American says the word wanker. It just sounds weird. It doesn't work at all. It just sounds odd. Even if they are using the word correctly, which they're not always, but yeah.
Trope. That's the anti-Semitism.
Sometimes
Whereas
maybe
I
good,
say
sometimes
no, never.
Have intel that after trying to run in the Democratic presidential primary, Jink is now considering a Labour leadership bid in order to have the Home Office's ruling overturned.
There's one small problem. I mean, thank you for A, the donation, and B, the whimsy with which you have stated your case. One small problem. In order for that to be possible, he would have to be a member of the British Parliament, which he would be allowed to even as a foreign citizen, but he would have to be a UK resident. And in order to be a UK resident, he would have to first be allowed into the country, which he is not. Checkmate. Checkmate. mate.
Blame Jewish people and never treat Jewish people or Muslim people or Christian people any different than you would treat anyone else. On the left,
Chenkmate. That's pretty good. Chenkmate.
the most guiding philosophy we have,
like if TYT don't sell Chenkmate like merch, they've missed a trick, because that's fucking gold.
The very core of our philosophy is that all people are equal. If you violate that idea to say Jewish people are not the same, they're different, or they're worse, then you're not really on the left, because that is not a position that any rational person on the left would have. On the other hand, if you say you're not allowed to criticize certain governments, well, we're not going to agree to that. That's insanity. So wait, is it racist against Turks to criticize the Turkish government? No. The government of Papua New Guinea, or the country of Papua New Guinea, has almost the exact population of Israel. Same size. If we criticize Papua New Guinea, are we anti-Papua New Guineist and will be banned from Britain? And if that's not the case, I mean, we all know that's not the case. You could criticize literally every other country.
Well, I made this very point the other day, didn't I, about like the no other nation is treated with the kid gloves that Israel is. Every time someone says that Israel is doing a genocide because, you know, they're doing a very obvious open genocide, the British news people will go like, oh, well, Israel would deny that. Yeah, we know Israel would deny that because they're the ones doing the war. When has any government gone, actually, you know what, lads, we are currently doing lots of war crimes. Please take us to The Hague immediately. It doesn't fucking happen. Yeah, criminals denying their crimes is a very regular thing. It's why we need court cases and shit. No, you don't do this with any other nation. No one goes, well, the government of Rwanda would deny the genocide. Like, if you mention a sensitive topic with Cenk, I suppose, but if you mention the genocide of the Armenians, no one would go, well, the Turkish government denies that genocide. If you mention the slaughter of Ukrainians, no British journalist will say the Russian government denies any wrongdoing in eastern Ukraine. But with Israel, we have to treat them like a little sensitive baby bird. Like a little gentle creature that must be nurtured in our soft, warm, embracing hands. It's fucking tragic shit. To see how Western governments have totally betrayed their own populi, whatever, to cuck themselves out for Israel. Which is basically cucking themselves out to America by proxy, but whatever.
Including the United Kingdom and the US, then when the UK government says the only country you're not allowed to criticize is Israel, well, who's doing the singling out? Who's doing the discrimination? Who's the one that is separating out Israel as opposed to every other nation? And that's obviously the government of the United Kingdom. It's outrageous. It should be unacceptable. By the way,
more like the disunited kingdom. Haha, got him.
Since the majority of Brits agree with me, you all have to be concerned. What if you go outside the country and then your own government says you have offended the new king? You share the dastardly opinions of Cenk Uygur that a genocide is bad. You must be pro-genocide. Otherwise, we'll declare you an anti-Semite and ban...
Well, thankfully, the British government has never, ever seen a British citizen travel outside of its borders, then declare them a non-citizen and refuse them re-entry, leaving them as a stateless migrant in a fucking tent in Lebanon. Oh no, that did happen.
Ban you from your own country. That's now on the board. That's now possible. And certainly, if you're, have issues with what Israel has done in not just in Gaza, but in Lebanon, where they've displaced 1 million people, ethnic cleansing again, that's the dictionary definition of ethnic.
No, Miss Hire, I don't think it is. I think it's literally just implicating the Zionist lobby, of which he is a part. Like, this is the thing. There doesn't need to be some grand conspiracy theory about, like, oh, a Zionist organised, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not... Literally, the Prime Minister is a member of the Labour... Or was a member, I don't know if he still is, of the Labour Friends of Israel. Like, we literally have Zionists in every key position in British government. There isn't some grand conspiracy that's hidden behind the scenes of people pulling string. It's literally open and they're Zionists. They're Zionists doing the bidding of Zionism. Simple.
The cleansing. And what they're doing in Iran, what Britain is saying is, you're not welcome here. We don't want good, moral people from across the world who are against genocide. We think that you would cause a threat to our public order if you're against genocide. It just literally couldn't be more outrageous.
One of the, I think the themes that I'm getting in terms of what I've seen with the reaction here is that one of the statements that you made was, or that they're claiming that was one of the reasons why Shabana Mahmoud removed travel authorization in this case, was the idea that you say that, well, America's being controlled by Israel. And I think that a lot of people are looking at this from where I'm sitting and saying, well, if we're not being, if Western governments don't have the interest of Israel above the interest of their own citizens, or indeed of the interest of citizens of friendly countries, why are things like this happening? Now, of course, in America, we saw the arrest of people like Mahmoud Khalil and Ramesa Ozturk, who, again, were arrested basically for having opinions that were critical of the Israeli government. In the UK, I feel like we've been to this idea that this has created martyrs in terms of the reaction to governments doing things in the interest of Israel. Is the sense you're getting in the US as well?
It's overwhelming and it's indisputable. So first of all, you're not allowed to boycott, divest, or sanction Israel in America in 30 different states. You're
land of the free, asterisks, and the home of the brave, asterisks, asterisks.
Are allowed to be in favor of sanctioning or boycotting any other country. Only Israel is exempt. And that is for American citizens. Your freedom of speech is taken away, and you will lose.
Okay, Stomach's still in the Labour Friends of Israel. So you see, again, there's no secret conspiracy. It's on fucking Wikipedia. Like, it's open, you know?
Your livelihood. You lose government contracts if you criticize Israel in that way. And not only that, guys like the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has traveled to Israel to sign bills.
I think you mean Ron DeSanctimonious.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Taking away American rights from the citizens of Florida and basically bragging to the Israelis, I took our freedoms away on your behalf. This is insane. These are things that are actually happening. Students on college campuses, not just people with visas. You're absolutely right about Mahmoud Khalil and Ozturk. Ozturk, all she did was write an op-ed criticizing Israel. So don't tell me you're not taking our speech rights away. You definitely are. And by the way, the Supreme Court has ruled for hundreds of years that everyone gets the same First Amendment rights in this country, even if they're not citizens, if they're here in America. So once you take it away for non...
Yeah, Lindsay Hoyle, the Speaker, is indeed the son of one of the co-founders, I believe, of Labour Friends of Israel. But you don't even need to do that, because we don't need to visit the sins of the father upon the son. Okay? One cannot help from whose seed one springs. But what one can be judged for is their own actions. And he took free travel, board and expenses from the Israeli government to travel alongside the incredibly disgusting Zippy Hotovely, the Israeli ambassador to the United Kingdom, to go on an all-expenses-paid trip to Israel, to be wined and dined by the Israeli government. That's fine. Apparently there's no conflict of interest in any of that. That's absolutely normal and fine and good. Yeah. Yeah, it's spelled like Tzippy or something, but it's pronounced Zippy Hotovely. Yeah, it's a weird name. Not Zippy from Rainbow or Bungle. As far as I'm aware, neither of these have ties to any genocidal ethno-state.
Non-citizens, you're in essence taking it away from citizens as well. And now we're banned from the United Kingdom. So in every single instance where they're taking your speech rights away or sanctioning you, it is for criticizing the same government.
Well, no, George is based as well. George was a communist. Yeah.
Government. There are no laws to ban you from criticizing Nicaragua or Tajikistan or Malaysia. Not a single other nation, not a single other law. But every single time it's about Israel, and they want you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears, and it is their most essential command. So Kafka and Orwell both have to be rolling in their graves here, thinking, my God, what has happened here? Although Orwell might be saying, told you.
I mean, it does seem to be pretty
To be fair, it is a little bit like Animal Factory. That is true.
unbelievable. But then again, like what I'm getting from this is the betrayal of liberal values, liberal norms and civil liberties are just being ripped up in favor of, again, a foreign government. It's unbelievable. I agree with you.
So Israel sometimes makes the absurd claim that they are defenders of Western civilization. That's why we should support them. And then they turn around and say, now destroy Western civilization in your own countries. Take away freedom of speech, taking away freedom altogether to travel. They've taken away my freedom of movement. I mean, and by taking away our freedom of movement, they've threatened all of your freedom. It's to send a message. It's not like they don't know that I can speak to the people of Britain anyway. I'm speaking to them right now. I've done now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that's the thing. It's not so much about like because you can't do book burnings anymore in the literal sense. I mean, you can obviously burn some bits of paper, but you can't destroy all of the copies of a book, even all of the copies of it in a city or in a library, because it's all available on the internet anyway. You can't stop someone speaking because literally you had fucking Edward Snowden being interviewed by Western media from his hotel room in Moscow. There's no silencing in that respect, other than I suppose murder. But yeah, you can't murder every single person who's against Israel. No, Israel, you can't. You can try, and I'm sure you will. But yeah. Anyway, the point being, you're not going to stop him speaking. But what it does do is make people think twice about whether they want all of the stress and shit in their lives from engaging in anti-Israel activities. Because a lot of people will just want an easy life. They just want to go along to get along. So even though they might look at things that are happening in Gaza and go, well, I don't like that. They also think, well, do I want to be smeared as an anti-Semite? Do I want to have my international travel restricted? Do I want potential loss of employment or future opportunities? No. And so they won't bother. And that is enough. That is enough for the Israeli lobby to think that this is worthwhile. They don't give a fuck about whether it's liberal or democratic or just humane. It's entirely about silencing criticism, rightfully or wrongful criticism of the Israeli government, in order to further enact Zionism. Which, by the way, they're just doing. Like, they're taking, 70% of the land they hadn't already taken from the Gaza Strip. They're still doing land grabs in the West Bank. They've literally ordered the evacuation of southern Lebanon and are now just taking all of that as well. They're literally massively expanding their territory as we speak. But if you call it an invasion, you're anti-Semitic. Mad.
Three British shows today. I've got another one coming up. Now, they're not doing it for that reason. They're doing it to intimidate you. So don't make the mistake that Cenk and Hasan made of speaking out against Israel. Otherwise, we're going to terrorize you. We're going to intimidate you. We're going to cancel you. We're going to ban you. So now here in America, Israel does give to 94% of Congress. They're the number one lifetime donor to Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Hakeem Jeffries, Mike Johnson, Chuck Schumer, literally all of our leaders. And then they say, if you're in the news business, you must ignore that. If you report facts, we'll call you an anti-Semite. Well, are they true or are they not true? They are true, but you're not allowed to say it. Well, what kind of media is this? So not only is the government in on this, and that's more understandable, they've all literally been legally bribed by the Israeli lobby to support Israel. Do you know, I'll come back to the media in a second, but do you know...
It's not bribery, it's just political donation, though. You see, It's corruption when brown countries do it, but good white countries, it's just lobbying. It's fine. It's civic engagement. It's actually positive when you don't think about it.
That AIPAC makes you sign a pledge saying that not only will you support Israel, but you will support Israel unconditionally. So no matter what they do, shut up and give American people's money to Israel. What kind of insane pledge is that? And I'll give you an amazing example of how they go after everyone and how this has nothing to do with religion. Yes, they spent $16 million against Tom Massey because he criticized Israel, $18 million against Jamal Bowman, $14 million against Cori Bush, $4 million against Marie Newman, $4 million against Nina Turner. Oh, what is the one thing they have in common? They all criticized Israel, and then they were all defeated by giant amounts of money spent by the Israeli lobby. We have eyes and ears. You can tell us to ignore the evidence, but we're not going to. We can all see Gaza. We all know that it's a genocide, no matter how much the sick Israeli, British, and American governments defend it. But now let's turn to the media for a second. Why has no cable news anchor in America called it a genocide when it is obvious that it's a genocide, and almost every genocide scholar on the planet agrees that it's a genocide? The fact that it's ethnic cleansing is indisputable and inarguable, yet no prominent figure in American media has called it that. What is going on here? Has Israel intimidated, bullied, and their supporters bullied American media and Western media so much that they're afraid to tell you the news?
Well, it's not even just that they bullied them. In America, they bought them. Zionists, to one degree or another, own and all of American media, basically, because you don't have like national media really. There is like NPR or whatever, but it's pretty limp. Yeah, they're owned completely, and again, not by Jewish people. Rupert Murdoch is not a Jewish man. Well, he's retired now, but when he was around, the owner and operator and indeed founder of Fox News was not a Jewish man. He is a Zionist. Zionists run all of it. Not for the interests of Jewish people, absolutely not.
News. And as the British government bans me, does that standard apply to all foreigners? Does it apply to citizens? Or does it just apply to the media? But think about it. Even if it just applies to the media, what the British government is saying is, if you accurately report the news, we will ban you. But if you don't accurately report it, you cover up the crimes of the Israeli government, then you're welcome to England and to Britain overall.
I was about to say, yeah, okay. Again, he corrected himself, so I'll let it go.
Well, that's amazing, and that's not about the Israeli government. That's about the British government, and they apparently are saying very clearly, you're not free here anymore. You must bow your head to Israel, and if you don't, you'll have legal troubles in the UK and in the US.
Stephen, what did you make of this debacle?
That was a really good interview, and I'm genuinely so proud of her. Fuck yes. My bitch is making waves! Let's go. And, can I be bothered with this guy? Oh, we'll see how it goes.
It's funny, I've won 3 local elections and only been able to govern for one of them because we win the popular vote,
maybe
but
good, sometimes
our
maybe
seat
shit.
Behind in the stream. I'd rather the rats sing.
Well, that is anti-Semitic. That doesn't make any sense. Thank you, James. What is genocidal bungle stuff? That was the joke I did 20 minutes ago. Fucking stop.
Bread has always not quite made it, apart from in 2022, and that's the first time we'd formed a Labour administration in Wandsworth for 44 years. You know, the Conservatives had dominance in that borough. But, you know, all I can say is that, you know, you fight as hard as you can. And I think Wandsworth was an interesting one because it was really, really close, and we didn't see, you know, the Greens didn't make a single win. They didn't get a single councillor. But as someone who's grown up in London, you know, the story of the night was the Greens winning in places that no one ever thought a third party could ever win.
I mean,
yeah.
I remember reading headlines that, you know, even in 2016, 2017, 2018, it was a remarkable win for you. They were saying you're the new young fresh sort of face of the Corbyn's kind of Labour, and people thought that was unexpected. I suppose maybe a similar thing's going on with the Greens.
Well, it's an interesting one because as someone who is like on the left and a socialist within the left.
No, you're in the Labour Party, mate. Let's not overcook it, shall we? If you have avoided Yum Yum's purge, I don't think you really get to call yourself that anymore. What, you're doing a cheeky bit of socialist genocide, are you, lad? Okay.
The clear thing that I think has often not been picked up by the analysis of...
Technically, he's not doing the genocide, but, you know, he's in the party that is.
Local election results in London is frankly just how many of the victories or strong turnout and wins by Greens in London has been led by former Labour councillors, like or often very recent Labour councillors from the left of the party. So as someone who has been fighting for socialist politics within the Labour Party, I think the story in a lot of boroughs is those who, for whatever reason, and often, you know, we can go into the detail of some of it, but...
John McDonnell is not a socialist. John McDonnell is a strongly worded letter in a trench coat, okay?
Like, have felt so sometimes like pressured or bullied or have been deselected to the point at which they have left the Labour Party and run for another party. And I think there's always been a kind of stopgap in the mind of the Labour Party that you can push the left as far as you want because they've got nowhere else to go. And I think that happens actually, like literally with some Labour councillors, not just like members or voters, but with actual elected representatives of the Labour Party. And the story of those election results is in Lewisham, in Southwark, you know, in places where the leader of the council now is literally an ex-Labour councillor. That is a kind of historic break with the way that we have understood how the institution of the Labour Party functions and the calculations it makes when it makes political decisions about who is too left-wing, you know, to be allowed to be a representative. And I think, you know, I think that...
He owns all of the bread. What?
That's something we really... If we are to change the existential threat to the Labour Party, we have to face up to some of those realities and some of... And you know...
Count Binface is running in Wakefield. Is there an election in Wakefield? Do you mean Makerfield, or is there a separate election in
Sometimes
Wakefield?
may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Currently unaware of. Thank you, Katie Marshall. By the way, everyone go and follow Katie Marshall / Mad Cat Scotty Eye on all of the platforms. She's fucking awesome. Kev, do you support Count Binface for Makerfield? I absolutely do, yes. 100%.
In some ways have some kind of recompense for the treatment that some people on the left have faced within the Labour Party.
It must be quite interesting. Labour councillors who would jump ship to the Greens, especially then to go on to win. Are you basically just saying to them, look, you need to stay and fight, and they're like, we've given up? I mean, what are these conversations like?
So, I mean, I think everyone goes on a different journey, and I can only really speak from my experience in Wandsworth, and it's why I've been such a keen advocate of the Wandsworth project, and it has kind of shaped my own political life, right? Because I just didn't, you know, obviously I've faced the level...
Oh yeah, Wakefield is the fucking Green candidate in Makerfield. It's all very confusing. We are a sensible country for sensible people.
Pressure, as anyone does who is on the left. And I've faced some quite serious and scary pressure at times. But my own Labour group within the council, the leader, Simon Hogg, had my back. And I can't quite imagine how alienating and lonely it would be if they hadn't had my back during some of those battles. And so I can't...
Okay, but like, if you think the party is anything, why would you accept them treating you that way? Why should it be a battle to exist as a left-winger? Like, they've made it very clear they don't want you in the party. Like, I don't know how, like, bollockless you have to be to not, listen to that when it's said to you. Like, I have too much self-respect to be in a party full of people who despise me. Do you think this guy was suspended? I don't... Well, it says he's a Labour councillor at the moment. Do you mean he might have been suspended at some point in the past? I have no idea, but... Kev, if you thought Question Time last week was bad, look up token maxing Nature article. Pineapple. I don't know what token maxing is, but that phrase, just everything about it, gives me such rancid vibes. I don't want to look into that. It's like again, I talked about the other day about nuclear power and like how all of that, like sometimes there are bits of knowledge that the humanity should not seek out. Like maybe there is some knowledge people shouldn't seek out for the benefit of everybody. And I don't want to look into token maxing because I think it's going to be so depressing that I might actually ring up Kim Ledbetter for some advice, let's say.
Ever kind of say to someone who has made that decision, like, what's wrong with you? Why weren't you tough? Why didn't you just stick it out? Because in some ways the culture that we managed to build in Wandsworth is a truly pluralistic culture, and I genuinely think that is possible because we were facing really serious Tories. Like, it's not a safe Labour borough that has been Labour.
You're led by serious Tories, super serious, adults in the room Tories
forever, where when that's the case, the power battle is between like which part of the Labour Party, and it's just Labour fighting Labour, right? When you have a real, well-resourced 44-year project fundamentally tied to like the national picture of neoliberalism and Thatcherism, you have a real enemy and you have a real goal that brings people together. And I think talented people on the left of the Labour Party who, can...
There is no left of the Labour Party.
Bring in different members and different parts of the community and like have skills and talents and are like good on social media or can get out loads of canvassers becomes a real tool when you're fighting like a proper enemy.
Why is it plants?
And I think in some of those more established Labour strongholds, the internal fights become much more kind of brutal, I guess. And of course, the last 4 years has been the most brutal McCarthyite purges, I think, since like the 1980s, right? So the fact I even feel nervous talking about this highlights some of the pressures and some of the kind of institutional, institutional cultures that have been allowed to develop in the Labour Party. And I don't...
So why are you still in it? If they are trying to purge you, maybe that take the message. Take the hint.
I think the Labour Party will survive this crisis unless it reckons and changes course very quickly. Because, and we can come on to like because I think Gorton and Denton has changed the political map. And I think our literal local election campaigns would drastically change that night in a way that we couldn't have comprehended 8 months ago or a year ago. When we were going into...
What the fuck? Arab Israelis buy states
Sometimes maybe good,
for
sometimes maybe
150
shit.
million a year.
Kev, top Labour aren't even Tories of old. They're some new strange neolib thing with no real convictions.
Fucking true. Who said that? Who said it? Thank you, Vicky. Much love. At the instruction of Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, brackets, genocider, The chief rabbis of Israel sold all of the chametz, leavened foods, owned by the state to an Arab-Israeli businessman in accordance with the laws of Passover, the chief rabbinate of Israel announced on Sunday. Halashah, or Jewish religious law, forbids the eating and ownership of leavened products during the 7-day holiday, in keeping with the story of the Exodus from Egypt. So it's like just a religious thing. Hasan Jabbar, 64, from the Arab town of Abu Ghosh, west of Israel's capital, paid a deposit of around 20,000 shekels, $5,300. After the holiday, he will be offered the possibility of completing the transaction, which was an estimated total value of $150 billion. So, okay, right, okay. So it's, yeah. So it's like a religious... It's a workaround. It's a workaround of the law. Fair enough. I say the law, not the religious law. Yeah, okay. Still wild that they do it. I mean, I guess, but like, who cares? Look, of all the things the Israeli state does, that seems perfectly benign. I'm fine with that. It's a bit fucking weird and archaic, but who cares? Look, if that was the worst thing the Israeli government did, I would be perfectly fine with the Israeli government. You know?
These elections, we were not planning to be fighting a two-fronted campaign against the Greens and the Conservatives. That just wasn't even on our agenda. And so in some ways, I think it is the culmination of that culture that has been allowed to build and develop. And, you know, the watchers of your channel know it intimately.
I do have to wonder about your use of the word positive here. On a more positive note, I was canvassing for the Greens on Sunday and knocked on the door of a woman who answered the door with a laptop midway through Fortnite. What you did was, I mean, interrupt someone wasting their life on a shit game that's shit. So I don't know that that's necessarily positive, that this person is frittering away their vital seconds on Fortnite. Yeah, I said it. I won't be taking it back. I'll be leaving it out there for all to see. Although in terms of people wasting the precious moments of their lives, I do have to say, I should probably not warn people against that, considering watching my stream is precisely that.
I'm sure that the people who often are so angry at the Labour Party is because they've experienced some of that culture themselves. Maybe they were in the Corbyn movement, you know, when it was happening and got bullied out, or maybe they just watched what happened to the left in the Labour Party over the last, you know, couple of years.
If this doesn't,
and so that anger,
if this doesn't get interesting, I'm going to go to bed.
is really, really tangible. Now, I've come on this show to talk about, like, how do we balance that with a coherent socialist strategy to take on reform? But I do think it's worth genuinely recognising, and I think it's important that anyone who wants to change the Labour Party has to be very serious about, like, the wounds of the last couple of years and what it has meant for, like, building a coherent left-wing movement, progressive movement that can challenge a far-right government.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, that particularly the Wandsworth Council and the National Party are two different things. Like, I can see your argument in which you've got a tight-knit team, you've got a good team of socialists.
It's not game snobbery, it's game taste, is what it is. Okay? Game taste.
You've got each other's back, and I can see why you would advocate for people to vote Labour in your local council. And obviously it's far different to the National Party. But given the fact that you are still part of that party, I think we recognise the party is in crisis. And to me, it doesn't look as though it can make a comeback under its current trajectory, aside from maybe Andy Burnham becoming Prime Minister. So what are your thoughts on, we can talk about Makerfield if you want, but what are your thoughts on the prospect of an Andy Burnham becoming Labour leader and then, well, basically Labour Prime Minister?
Yeah, and I think, but just before I jump into that, I think it's important to say that I'm not propagandising for Wandsworth. In my cabinet, there were moderates, right? But they were moderates who understood the broad tent politics and mass politics of the Labour Party. And under first past the post, right, which had been up until now a kind of two-party system, the Labour Party is kind of like this organisation that has lots of people
10,
with different
9,
strengths of feeling on
8,
different issues that broadly coalesce
7,
on the left of British
6,
politics, right? And
5,
I always nick Jeremy Gilbert's line, which is,
4,
you know, the dividing line between those who
3,
want to dramatically
2,
redistribute wealth and power is
1.
not between.
Okay, I'm done. You're boring, mate. Sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. You're boring. Right. I am going to go for a piss and then some food. Probably wash my hands in between those two activities, and then bed. Kev is going to stop watching Beautiful Boys interview. To be fair, it was one of the more good-looking interviews. That is true. A pair of absolute stunners. Curtis was better though. Let's be honest. Curtis is a 10. I'm just saying. And you can go and subscribe to that 10 on Turn Left. That's a really weird way of putting that, Kev. Fucking hell, that was strange. Anyway, okay. What did we learn from tonight? Don't play Fortnite, I think. Yeah. You probably just don't play Fortnite. Is the main takeaway from tonight's. Oh, and the Labour Party is shit, and Britain is shit.
At this very moment, Britannia burns.
Correct. Okay, who's going on YamTubes? Oh, the aforementioned Katie Marshall is going, so I'll send you over there on the YouTubes. Enjoy. And who's going on the Twitch? Lux Progressive is going, and they're talking about Pride or something, so go and check them out. They're cool. Yes, I will see thee. Well, it's past midnight now, so probably tonight, I imagine. What day is it? Tuesday. I'm not sure what's happening. There'll be some parliamentary nonsense, I'm sure. And more, probably more Yum Yum revelations, which should be fucking grotesque. Anyway, thank you all for listening and watching. Thank you for all of your support. And I will see you later. Free Palestine. Free Hasan. Free yourselves from mental slavery. No pass around.